What's up, guys? My name is Kayla Bundy, and you're listening to the Finding Hope podcast. Say hi, Pixie Rose. She's such a queen. She just got all shaved down. She's all cute and tiny right now. If you're on YouTube, you're able to see this, but she's literally, she's so cute, and she's just so tiny. Okay, for this week's segment of the Q&As, the question is, what advice would you give your younger self? I feel like so much. It just depends on what aspect of life we're talking about. But I guess the biggest thing I would tell my younger self was, you are going to absolutely love your life and good things are always going to come your way. And anything that holds you back is just proof that you were designed for something great. And the greater your calling is, the more pushbacks you might feel. And so power through, because you will always be thankful that you made it through the other side. So today we're gonna talk about comparison, because I think with Coachella going on, with all these festivals happening, with summer starting to approach, it's so easy to get trapped in this comparison game when you're seeing all these beautiful people having their lives put together. Whether that's their bodies you're comparing, your lifestyle you're comparing, their career, their finances, the boy they have, the girl they have. It is so easy to get trapped in this cycle of why isn't that me, or I want that, and to have that focus be on the things you don't have in life. And if we're being honest, like, comparison, it's okay to acknowledge. Like, all of us will go through comparison at some point in our lives, and probably throughout our lives, there's always going to be things, whether we're comparing our old version of ourselves to our current version, or we're comparing the lifestyle we want. Comparison isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I do think it's a conversation that needs to be had. And whether you care all about the festivals or the influencers, the celebrities, any of that, I just think this timing of it being festival season, it being the beginning of summer starting, like, I think it's such a pivotal time to talk about comparison and be honest with ourselves, and not just overcome it, because it's not necessarily about like, oh, I'm gonna overcome this emotion that I think is so negative, but how to actually navigate and feel empowered by it. So I was just at the festival, and I didn't actually go to Coachella. I was just like there for a bunch of events and PR stuff and like working different things. But I was in like the atmosphere, and I have to be so honest, it was the best time of my life. It was so much fun. And I will say I'm really proud of myself, because I didn't fall into this like, oh, I wish I was there. I wish I was doing that. I want what she has. I want what he has. Like, I didn't fall into that mindset. And I noticed such a change because I've been doing so much mental health work on my own time. And like, I feel like I've been really growing my mind in ways I'm so proud of. And it was such a unique experience to be in a place where there's so much comparison happening all around you, and you can feel it and you see it, and it is so real. And it was very empowering for me to walk in with such confidence in who I am and where I'm at in my life, because there's been such work that I've been doing, and it was beautiful to see like, oh, there's a payoff to this actually. And like, oh, all of the work that you're putting in every single day, and you're constantly growing your mind, you're constantly working on yourself and your career and your health and your body and all of these things. Like, friends, it is so beautiful to be in environments that used to rob you of who you are, and to be able to step into it with such a different strength and confidence. So that is what we are going to get through today, and that is how you are going to be feeling. So I want to start off by saying comparison is something we should acknowledge and feel. And the worst thing you can do is lie to yourself about the way you're feeling and lie to yourself about the negative thoughts or emotions that you're thinking. And just because we feel like it's negative, it can be so easy to suppress that and ignore it and be like, no, I'm not feeling that. Like, no, like I'm above that. Like I don't care. Like I'm confident in myself. Like that's great. But if realistically you aren't genuinely feeling those emotions and you don't feel that confidence about yourself, it is more harmful to lie about it and suppress those instead of just being honest and opening up about where you're at with not only yourself, but the people around you, because the people around you are there to encourage you. They're there to uplift you. They're there to walk through things and to uproot those lies that you might be thinking about yourself. And if we're honest, all of us have comparison. Like I constantly compare things, and whether that's, and it's okay to compare things. Like there's so many things that I'm happy I compare. Like I'm happy I'm able to compare my life now versus a few years ago, because it shows, oh my goodness, I've grown, or all these great things are happening and I'm thankful. And it brings a lot of gratitude when I'm able to compare certain things in my life. It brings genuine confidence, strength, and gratitude for where I'm at and for who I am and for the person I'm becoming. But then on the other side of comparison, depending on what you're comparing and your outlook on it, it can be taking away from who you are. It can be making you feel shameful, making you feel less than your worth, making you feel insecure, not pushing you in the ways that you are called to be. And so that's why this conversation is just so important. And I think it can be so easy to see people's lives from a lens. And that is the generation we are living in. We are living in a world where our friends, our family, the people we're influenced by, the people we look up to, the people we hate, all of it. We are seeing their lives day in and day out through our screens on a phone in the ways that they want us to see it. And maybe they want us to see it honestly. Maybe they want us to see that they just have this perfect life. It doesn't really matter. I feel like in general, I don't think it's right or wrong to either live this perfect life or live this honest life and be crying on your social media, or be saying that you have everything you wanted and more. Because at the end of the day, what is put out there is put out there, and it's more so the way that you're going to look at it and perceive it that is going to have the biggest change and effect on your life. And I think being in this world where everything is so digital and we don't hear and see the heart behind people or where they're at, it can be so easy to feel depleted and discouraged at where we currently are, because we don't see ourselves through the digital lens. We see ourselves for the actuality, for the reality, and for the honest truth of where we are and what we feel. And we don't have this screen to cover or this screen to portray a certain thing or to process things through. We are the only people we have in our lives that is going to be real 24/7. And so it's really easy to get caught up in this game of looking left and right and seeing either what you want, what you don't want, all of these things, and being so distracted and so focused on everywhere except where you need to go and what you need to do. I think a perfect example of this is you creating your dream life. Let's say you have your Pinterest board, you have your vision board, you have created exactly what you want, picture perfect, everything you've dreamed of, and you have this board in front of you and you love every ounce of it, because it is you that you've put into it. It's your creativity. It's your dreams. It's your goals. It's your vision. It's legit your vision board. It's legit your Pinterest board. And everything seems great and perfect and amazing. And then you look at somebody else's and you see that their dreams are bigger, that their goals are better, that their lifestyle looks a little bit more fun than the one you dreamt for yourself. And then, now that you've seen that there's something more out there, what you once absolutely loved and adored and were proud of and excited for, now that's not enough. And now you want something else. And I think that's exactly where a lot of us might be in our lives and with this new digital generation, because we can look in the mirror every day. We can create our own goals. We can dream the life that we want for ourselves. We can be proud of exactly who we are. We can love our curves. We can love our imperfections. We can love the little quirks about ourselves and find them so unique and beautiful and be really happy about the direction we're going and really excited about where our life is taking us until we see somebody else's. And friends, that is where this whole looking left and right and having so much access to what other people are doing and how they're living and how they look and the relationships they're in and the careers that they've created. It can be such a dangerous game if you are viewing it from the lens of, I'm not enough, and now what I wanted isn't good enough for me. And now who I am isn't good enough for anyone else. And I'm such a firm believer of, no, like, it's not bad to look at these things, because there's such an advantage to being able to see somebody else's dreams, be able to see somebody else's goals, see somebody else's lives, because it can push you to dream bigger. It can push you to want more out of your life. It can push you to open up your world of possibilities and bring in the reality that, oh my goodness, I could achieve that too. And I can have these things and I can work just as hard and I can create this for myself as well. It can be so encouraging and empowering and motivating when you can see so much more than your own vision, when you're looking at it from the lens of abundance and not of lack. Because the second you look at it from a lack mindset, it's never going to be enough. You're never going to be happy. You're never going to be fulfilled. You're always going to be disappointed in yourself, and you're always not going to be proud of where you're at. But the second you look at it in abundance and realize there's so much room in this world for everybody to succeed, and we are all on our own paths, and you can have this beautiful space you live in where you can pick and choose the different things that you see that you want that other people have, and you can cultivate that in a unique way that's fitting for you and that is restorative for you and fulfilling for you, not because you want what somebody else has, but because you are now encouraged and empowered because you know that that's achievable and you know that you are capable of making that happen for you in a unique way that's personalized to you. And I think as well with this conversation, it's less about, oh, I need to take the focus off myself. Because I think a lot of times with comparison, it feels like, oh, I'm just constantly focusing on myself all the time and what I don't have or what I want or seeing everybody else and where I want to be. And it can be really discouraging and so much focus on you. And I feel like I've heard so many times, like throughout my life, when people have depression, anxiety, all of these things, I'll hear people say like, well, they're just too focused on themselves. And I totally disagree with that. I think you should be focused on yourself, but in an entirely different way. Because what honestly was so helpful for me this whole weekend, and not just this weekend, but throughout so many things I've been walking through this last month. This month has been a absolute whirlwind, you guys. I am like, oh my gosh, it has been just turn after turn and all expected. And I feel like all of these things out of the blue coming up, and it's been a lot. But what has been so helpful carrying me through it is I do have the focus and attention on myself, but not in a way that takes away from who I am, but in a way that assures and reaffirms who I am in the best ways. And I think confidence really comes from thinking about yourself and appreciating yourself for who you are. And yes, you can fall into the negative aspects when you put too much focus on yourself, 1,000,000%. But if you can train your mind to focus on yourself in a way where each and every day you are renewing who you are, you're renewing your mind, you're renewing your soul, you're renewing your body, you're renewing and reassuring your worth, you are gradually creating such a firm ground for you to stand on, and that is rock solid. When the wind comes, when the festivals come, when the photos come, when you have your For You page blowing up at the concerts you wanted to go to, the people you wanted to meet, the boyfriends you wish you had, the girlfriends you wish you had, you won't feel like you're having to move and blow with the wind and go with the flow of it and try to find your foot in the door through it. No, you will be so rock solid and you will stand on such solid ground, and you can observe these things, you can notice these things, you can take the good parts from these things, and you can keep building your foundation because it's already been built. It's not something that is off in the distance or in thin air and you don't really know where you're rooted, you don't really know where you're grounded, you're just constantly trying to find yourself in every environment and situation that presents itself in your life. There is such beauty and uniqueness to who you are. And I know it's such a cliche, but you don't want to be anybody's copy. You don't want to be a second version of somebody. You don't want to be known or perceived as the better version of this person or the worst version of that person, or you don't want to be compared. You want to be who you are and set apart from the rest. And to be able to do that and walk into that, you can't compare yourself in these negative ways and then expect other people not to compare you. And so I just want to encourage you that you are enough the way you are. You are capable. You are so worth more than you could imagine. And no matter what season of life you're in, no matter what you're walking through, there is so much hope and purpose for your life and for your success, for your dreams, for all of this. And the dreams you have in your heart, the desires you have in your heart, those are good things. And those are beautiful ways that can carry you through each and every day, having these goals in mind and seeing them come to life. I think that's such a beautiful thing. And I definitely think there's a lot of wisdom in being able to recognize all of the wonderful things about yourself and knowing that you're always going to be growing and you're always going to be learning. And who you are today is the best version of yourself. And who you are going to be tomorrow is going to be even better. And you're exactly where you need to be. You're exactly where you should be. And even if that's in a horrible place, you're in that for a reason. And maybe this is your sign to get out. And this is your encouragement to make a change. But wherever you are in your life right now, you are supposed to be there. And either run from that situation, run to that opportunity, run with that friend, run with that relationship. Wherever you are, you have an opportunity to seize your life and seize your circumstance in the best way possible. So before we walk away today, I just want to leave you with some practical tips that you can do to really implement this new shift in your mindset on comparison to where you do feel empowered and where you do feel confident and where you're looking at things in a way that's actually elevating your life and who you are and not taking away from who you are. So one, just be honest. Be honest. If you are struggling right now with comparison in a negative way, that is okay. It can be so minuscule or it could be so huge. But just being honest and being like, ugh, yeah, I wish I had that girl's outfit. She looks incredible in that. I wish I looked like that. Like, that's okay. Be honest. Don't try to lie to yourself and be like, no, she looks amazing. She's stunning. I'm so happy she looks that way. I don't feel that desire to look that way at all for myself. Like, that's such a lie. If that's a lie, just be honest with yourself and be like, yeah, she looks amazing. Wish I looked like that. Like, that's okay. Be honest. And then number 2, I want you to write down all the qualities that you love about yourself. And then I also want you to write down the things you're proud of yourself for within this last month. Think of the things you've walked through. Think of the conversations you've had. Think of the actions you did. And I want you to write down and actually think deep about the ways you were proud of yourself and the things you did that you're proud of. And don't hold back. Like, don't feel like, oh, like I feel so conceited or like I feel really weird like saying I'm proud of myself for these things that I'm doing. No, you should be proud of yourself. And to get to a place where you don't need validation or confirmation from other people, you have got to be proud of yourself on your own. And then number 3, I want you to get outside this week for at least an hour and spend time in nature. Go on a walk, go on a run, it does not matter. But look at the things that are real and natural in this world. Not anything superficial, not from a screen, not through a lens. But I want you to spend time in a natural environment that isn't filtered, that isn't tainted, that isn't perceiving itself to be something it's not or a different version of who it is. I just want you to get outside and go on a walk, go for a run and notice and appreciate the nature, because it's so much easier for us to compare ourselves to things than us comparing the beauty that's around us. If you look at plants, if you look at trees, if you look at the oceans, if you look at the lakes, they are all existing in the most beautiful ways, the most perfect ways. And they aren't trying to be something they're not. They are so uniquely different, and that is why we're drawn to them. And that is why when we are in a body of water, or when we're in a forest, or when we're able to be in a field of flowers, it's such a refreshing feeling because it's so real and it's so honest. And I just want you to notice those things, appreciate those things, and realize you are a creation as well, and you were uniquely created, just like everything else. And you hold so much value in the way that you are, and not for who else you might want to be or what else you might want in your life. So I love you guys. I hope this was super helpful. Pixie, you can't see her, but she's asleep. My little egg, my little queen. But you guys are doing great. I'm so proud of you for where you are, and I can't wait to talk to you next week. And if you're going to the festivals, if you're seeing the festivals, if you were already there, enjoy it. Enjoy this time and appreciate the beauty of everyone and every ounce of it that is happening, because that's what it's for. We love you. Bye.